So in R2, I'm talking about R2, right? So open ball in R2 is just a collection of all those points. It's just a collection of all those points whose distance from the this point A, is less than delta. Because you see, all the points which are lying inside this circle are those whose distance from A is less than delta. Only this red line, only in this red dotted line, those points are at delta distance from A. But we are not interested in those points. That is not the part of my open ball. That open part, that boundary is not there in my open ball. So this is how we define it very formally. So this symbol will be used to denote open ball. So B, the center of that ball is at the point A and the radius is delta. So I'll use this notation to denote the open balls. So this means this is an open ball centered at A and having radius delta. Also, you may also represent this B delta and here like this. This also means, this is another representation, this also means open ball centered at A and having radius delta. So this time we will write delta this way. And there are many other representations. Some authors also use S, that also represents open sphere. So I'll not be using that, but it's all right even if you use S. But this will be my standard notation. Listen this. So how it is defined? So first of all, remember, this is just a meaning of definition. So this is defined like this. It is collection of all those points in R2. This only comprises of points. This is a set. So all those x in R2. What kind of points? Whose distance from A. So how do we find the distance now? The norm is strictly less than delta. So this is what I mean by an open ball. This is what I mean by an open ball. So I should write a vector here because, right? Now let's simplify this part. Okay, let's simplify this part. What is this? So yeah, I'm only talking about R2 now. I'll generalize this for Rn a bit later. So we are over R2. So in R2, let me write again. In R2, what I mean by an open ball centered at A and radius delta, what is this? All those points in R2 whose distance from the center is actually less than delta. Okay, now let's try to simplify this quantity. Which quantity? Norm of x minus a less than delta. Suppose x has components x1, x2 and a has components a1, a2. Can anybody tell me what is the norm of x minus a in this case then? What is the norm of x minus a in this case then? I had already taught you what is the definition of a norm. Tell me, I'm not going to tell you.
Minus 1 a vector whole square plus x2 minus a2 whole square.
Very good. What Rajiv said, I guess that was Rajiv. So what Rajiv said is exactly correct. So if you remember, just turn your pages and see the definition of a norm. When these are the components, it is x1 minus root over of x1 minus a1 whole square plus x2 minus a2 whole square, and this is less than delta, or let me square both sides. So x1 minus a1 whole square plus x2 minus a2 whole square is less than delta square. Suppose instead of this less than, there was equals to. There was equals to. Okay. Do you see this is the equation of a circle? You remember the equation of a circle? X minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equals to radius square. Right? So this is an equation of a circle if there was a equals to. But if there is less than that, means that represents the interior of that circle, the inside part of that circle. And this is what we picturize, right? The open ball was nothing but the interior of this circle. So in R2, how will the open balls look like? They will look like the interior of a circle. So open balls in R2 are just the interiors of circles. So you can just visualize the open balls like the interiors of the circle, like whole over the space. So if this is my R2, this is an open ball, 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 and etc. etc. Right? Here is the center, this is the radius, here is the center, this is the radius. So the inside part, not the boundary, but the inside part represents my open ball. So open ball is nothing but a set. Don't forget that. This is a set. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So always try to picturize things. So open balls in R2 is nothing but they are just the interiors of circles. Similarly, in R3, we'll define like this: ball centered at A and radius delta is nothing but all those x in R3 whose distance from A is actually less than delta. The same definition for R3 also, because just this changes to R3. Right? So again, if I try to simplify this, assuming this is delta, assuming x is a vector having 3 components, because we are in R3, and A also having a vector, A is also a vector having 3 components, A1, A2, A3. So again, if you look at the definition of the norm, so this reduces to x1 minus a1 whole square plus x2 minus a2 whole square plus x3 minus a3 whole square root over, when we'll just square it directly, less than delta square. So this is also nothing but a sphere in R3. What is the equation of a sphere? You know, x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square plus z minus c whole square equals to r square. So open balls in R3 are just the interiors of spheres. So the room that I am sitting in, I can just imagine some balloons scattered all around. Balloons of different shapes and sizes. So here is a balloon, here there is a balloon. So these all are nothing but the interiors of the balloons are nothing but open balls in R3. Okay. Now we cannot visualize over like 3 dimensions, but in the similar way, with a similar notion, we can define open balls in R4, R5, R6 and so on. Now I would ask a question. Tell me, what are the open balls in R? Here I am taking n equals to 1. So I am talking about Rn, where n equals to 1. So how will open balls in R look like? That is your task. You tell me now. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it. Open balls in R. So let us see the visualization in R. So in R, so any open ball centered at A and radius delta. So this time I will not give you a vector because A is just a real number. So this is all those real number such that distance. So in R, the distance is the usual distance. So instead of writing norm, I write mod. This is the thing, because Here the norm is nothing but the mod. You know, distance between distance between two real numbers is just the modulus distance. So now if I simplify this, you see this is nothing but all those x in R such that, so you always remember this, mod x less than delta implies x less than delta greater than minus delta. This is what happens. So x minus a less than delta greater than minus delta, right? Next what? All those x in R such that I will just add a throughout. So this will become a minus delta less than x less than a plus delta. What is this? All those x in R which lie between this and this. Tell me, how do we write this? All those x in R such that 1 less than x less than 2. How do we write this? This is, you write like this, right? 1 comma 2. It is the collection of all points lying between 1 and 2. The open interval. So this is the open interval a minus delta to a plus delta. So how will the open balls in R look like? They will be like the open interval. So you give me the real line. This is an open ball. This is an open ball. From here to here, this is an open ball. So the open balls in R are nothing but open intervals. So open balls in R are just the open intervals. So we have a very good picturization now. Open balls in R is just open intervals. Open balls in R2 are just the interiors of the circles, and open ball in R3 are just the sphere. So in general, we are talking about Rn. So that will generalize everything. So in Rn, we cannot picturize for n greater than or equals to 4. The open ball centered at A and radius delta is denoted by, I already gave you the representation, I'll be using this representation, is denoted like this and is defined as follows. Defined as follows. Ball centered at A and radius delta is nothing but this. So it is defined like this. All those x in Rn, so I am talking about vectors, such that norm of x minus a is less than delta. So this is in general definition for any n greater or equals to 1. But we are mostly interested in R2 and R3. So that is the reason I actually explained it to you what I mean by open balls in R2 and R3. But beyond that, we cannot visualize or we cannot draw the figures or anything. But we have the same notion. So am I clear about open balls, right? So after talking about this open balls, we now talk about something called as neighborhood. Neighborhood. So you always remember one thing, you have already heard of these topics in real analysis, right? This open intervals, this neighborhood. So just try to compare from R as well, like from real analysis, like the definitions that I am giving, that should also work for real numbers. Okay, so just check whether my definitions will work for real number. For example, as I said here, if I take here R1, n equals to 1, so this is R. So this is actually an open interval. This set is actually an open interval. And this you have already seen in real analysis that open intervals are actually the open balls. Okay. Similarly, you read real analysis and see what is the definition of neighborhood and see what I am giving here. So that will actually be C. This is for Rn in general and that was for R in particular. So let me just state that let S be any subset of Rn. So when I am talking about R2, I am taking a subset of R2. If I am talking about R3, I am taking a subset of R3. And you consider any point inside this set. So I have some set, I have some point belonging to that set. Then S is said to be a neighborhood. S is said to be a neighborhood of A. So when I say this set, I have a set, I have some point belonging to the set. Then S is said to be a neighborhood of the point A if, when will I say that this is the neighborhood of the point A? If there exists an open ball centered at A and radius delta. There is some open ball such that this open ball is completely inside S. They can be equal as well. So when will I say a set is a neighborhood of a point? When I can find some open ball having center A and radius delta such that this whole open ball fits inside the set S. So just to go through the definition, I'll give you some examples to clear things out. Okay. So let's again talk about R2. I'm again talking about R2. So this is suppose R2. This is R and this is again R. I am taking some set of R2. So suppose I am talking about this set. I don't know what this set is. Like it is the collection of all points. It is a collection of all points. Okay. Like suppose this curve is fx. This curve is this fxy equals to 0. So anyways, I am not making things complicated for the time being. Suppose this S is nothing but the points inside this curve, inside this boundary and lying here also. So this is the point of S, this is the point of S, this is the point of S. So S comprises of all the points on this boundary as well as inside this region. Okay, this is my set S. Take any point inside set S. This set I'm talking, this point I'm talking about. Okay, suppose this is A. Suppose if I ask you, is S a neighborhood of A? Is S a neighborhood of A? What is your answer? Let's see. Why S is an open, why S is a neighborhood of A? What was the condition to be a neighborhood? I can find an open ball having some radius and that open ball should be inside S. Look at the definition. And here I can see if I choose this delta, I can see this open ball completely lies inside S. So I can say that S is a neighborhood of this point, red one. When do we say that this set is a neighborhood of this one? When I can find an open ball around that point and that open ball should not go outside S. Am I now clear? Am I now clear? Similarly, if I give you this point, very here, yeah, here. If I give you this point B, and if I ask you, is S a neighborhood of B? I may zoom this out. You can just see here. So, is S a neighborhood of B?
Yes, sir.
Again, yes, just because I may again take a very small delta, I can fit a ball around this and look at the definition gets satisfies. I'm taking a very small delta and that is inside S. You can take even smaller than this. Okay? Okay, very good. So S is a neighborhood of A, S is a neighborhood of B. Now you take a point on the boundary. So here, this is also a member of S. Suppose this point is the C vector. Is S a neighborhood of C? No. The answer is no. Very good. Because whatever small delta you choose, however small you choose, this open ball will go outside S. However small or however big you choose. If I am choosing a very small delta also, that is going outside S. You can just zoom and see. However small you choose. So this is very interesting. So S is the neighborhood of all the points inside of it, but it is not the neighborhood of any of the points lying on the boundary. So this is the concept of a neighborhood. A set is called a neighborhood of a point if there is some open ball I can draw about that point and that open ball should completely lie inside the set. So S is a neighborhood. S is a neighborhood. NPSD. That will be short form I'll be using. S is a neighborhood of A and B, but S is not a neighborhood of A. So I'm not proving things now. I'll prove everything. Don't worry about it. I just want to make the definition clear first. Okay. Now, you think this one, take an open ball in R2. Okay? Take an open ball in R2 now. Suppose this is the open ball I'm talking about. Having some radius. So there is not like, I'm drawing this one, but there is no boundary. Remember that. I should have drawn by dotted lines. So anyways, I'm telling you this is an open ball centered at A and some radius delta. So this is an open ball. So remember there is no boundary. Though I have drawn it, but assume that there is no boundary. So tell me, if I take this point, so is this one, I'm talking about this set. This is the set S. This whole open ball I'm talking about this set S. That means S is nothing but this time this. It is a collection of all the points inside this circle. Tell me, is this open ball a neighborhood of this blue point? Yes, because you can draw a delta, you can draw open ball like this. Is this a neighborhood of this point? Again, the answer is yes. I'm going to draw like this. And you will notice that whatever point you take, you cannot take on the boundary. Remember that you cannot take on the boundary just because I'm talking about open ball which has got no boundaries, right? So even if you take however close to the boundary, you can take this like the smallest distance from the boundary and you can just draw an open ball like this. Did you get my point? So it is clear that an open ball is the neighborhood or is a neighborhood of any of its points, right? It is even you see it is the neighborhood of this point A as well. You consider the whole open ball itself. This is inside this, right? So I'll just write that. So I'm just talking about R2, but this can be again generalized to Rn. Just you try to visualize for R3 as well. So it is clear that an open ball B A delta. I'm talking about Rn, not just R2. Okay, open ball is a neighborhood NPHD of each of its points. its points. So I'll do prove it. Don't worry that I'll not prove, but for the timing, I'm just trying to write things up. And in R2, this, so you know, this will be the neighborhood. This will be the neighborhood of the point A also. So this is called a circular neighborhood. So the name is very much clear why I am calling this is a circular neighborhood. So even this is a neighborhood of A because the whole open ball set fits inside the open ball, right? So this is called a circular neighborhood of A. Similarly, in R3, this will be called a spherical neighborhood of A. So given any point, I can find its neighborhood just by like taking the ball around it. So that will itself form a neighborhood of it. Clear? So even if you think this definition for a set of real numbers, you will see that what was the definition of neighborhood? A set S, a subset of R is called a neighborhood of a point A if there is some open interval centered at that point A or containing A and hole inside the set S. So now you think why this definition? Because open intervals are actually the open balls, and hence we have this. So both the definitions are true in case of R. So good enough. Now let me talk about another neighborhood also. So I'll draw in the next page. I'll not able to draw here. So going to the next page. So let me, I'm just talking about R2 because most of the things that we'll be doing will be on R2 and R3. Let me talk about R2 again. Consider a rectangle in R2, okay, without the boundary. So this is my R2, R. I'm always drawing in the positive quadrant. You may also take things here. So I'm talking about this rectangle. Without the boundary. Okay, suppose this point is A, this point is B, this point is C, this point is D. So how can I represent this rectangle? Suppose I am denoting this by S. So what is my S? S is collection of all points in R2. So it is collection of X comma Y. I am writing for the time being. It is a collection of all points in R2 X comma Y such that the X should lie between A and B. So X greater than A but less than B, and Y greater than C and less than D. You see, I write the rectangle comprises of all the points inside this. That means whichever points are there in S, their X coordinate is greater than A but less than B, and the Y coordinate is more than C but less than D. So this is how a rectangle can be written in R2. Right. Now, if I ask you, is S a neighborhood of this point? Yeah. So how will you do that? How can I take an open ball? I will measure the distance from here and from here. I'll measure the distance of this point from this line and from this line. Whichever distance is smaller, I'll take that radius and draw an open ball around this point. And you can see that that open ball will definitely lie inside S. Similarly, if I ask you, is S an open ball, a neighborhood of this point? So again, what I'll do, I'll measure the distance from the four lines. Like this distance I'll measure, this distance I'll measure, this distance I'll measure, and this distance I'll measure. Whichever distance is smallest among these four, I will take that as the radius and draw an open ball around it, and you will see that will be inside S. Right? So again, this rectangle is a neighborhood of any of his points or each of his points. And how can I prove it? I'll prove it later on. And the same concept I'll be using, which I'm drawing here. What concept I'll be using? You give me any point, I'll measure distance of this point from the four lines, from this line, from this line, from this line, from this line. Whichever distance is smaller, I'll take that distance as the radius and draw the open wall around it. And we'll see that that will completely fit inside S. And hence, S is a neighborhood of each of its points. Right? So, yeah. So, I'll just write that. This S is a neighborhood of each of its points, called as, and is called as, which is called as rectangular neighborhood. So the name is very much clear why I am calling this as a rectangular neighborhood. So we saw something called a circular neighborhood of a point and a rectangular neighborhood of a point. Okay, and similarly we may define something called a square neighborhood of some point. So what is a square neighborhood? You may just draw a square, try to name that square, like the name I have given for the rectangle. So I'll just give you some idea. Acha, I'll give you this as a homework. What is mean by the square neighborhood? I'll check in the next class of some point A comma B, suppose. What is the meaning of a square neighborhood? So just try to picturize things, try to draw a square about that AB. I'll just give you a hint. Suppose this is the point AB. So this is A and this is B. What you do, you draw a square around it. Suppose this you take as H. So this is A minus H and this is A plus H. This hint is enough and you will do it. What is meaning of the term square neighborhood of? Clear up to here? So let me talk about what I mean by interior points. Interior points. So again you have done this in analysis. You have done only for R. Now we will do it for R2, R3, R4, etc., etc., etc. Now you see here what I have done. Look at this S. So just look at the name interior points. So those points which are inside S but not on the boundary, those are interior points. You see, these all are interior points which do not lie on the boundary. But the points which are on the boundary will not be called an interior point. So how do we define it? You see, any points which are here or here, I can always draw an open ball around it and that will be inside S, right? But any point which lie on the boundary, I cannot draw an open ball which lies completely inside S. So this is how we define a point, an interior point. A point is said to be an interior point if I can draw an open ball around it and that open ball should be inside the whole set. If this condition satisfies, we say that that point is interior to S. If does not get satisfied, we say that is not an interior point. So let me define it very quickly. So what is an interior point? We are defining for in general Rn. So let S be any subset of Rn. A point. So that point firstly must be a member of S. A point A belonging to S is said to be an interior point, is said to be an interior point of S if I can simply say in two ways. If S is the neighborhood of A I can also define in that way that when can I say that A is an interior point of S if S is a neighborhood of A, or what was the definition of neighborhood? I'll just write that. If there exists some open ball centered at A and radius delta such that, so there exists some open ball this such that, I should write like that, open ball centered at A and radius delta is definitely greater than 0, such that this whole open ball is inside S. So this is the definition of an interior point over in Rn. What is the definition? That a point belonging to S is said to be an interior point if I can draw some open ball around that point, such that that whole open ball is inside the set S. And in simple words, S is a neighborhood of E. Am I clear with the definition? Look at this example then. As already said, what are the interior points? These all are the interior points. This is an interior point of S, this is an interior point of S, this is an interior point of S, this one, etc. All of these are open, all of these are interior points. But any point lying on the boundary of S is not an interior point of S. Why? Because if I draw any open ball, that will go outside S. Okay, so if I talk about the interior points of this set S, it is all the points which are inside this curve, but the points which are on the boundary, they are not interior point. And whereas in this case, every point is an interior point, because there is no boundary. First of all, you take this one, anywhere. These all are interior points. So I'll just give you a quick thing. The collection of all interior points is denoted by int S. So the collection of all interior points is denoted by the interior points of S is denoted by int and then S. This is how we represent the interior points, or by this, or by S with a O over it. So these are the two symbols which are used to represent interior points. So if I take like A be this open ball, okay, then what is interior of this? What is interior of A? What are the interior points? Few minutes back only I said. Yeah, very good. Int A is A in this case, because you can always draw some open ball around that point and that will be inside this one. Okay. Now let me give you a very nice example in R2. Let S be this collection M comma N such that this is a point in R2, right? Such that M and N are both integers. So I'm talking about R2. In simple words, I can also write S like this. What is S? It is Z cross Z. It is Z cross Z. That means I'm talking about this set in R2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So these points 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5. So all the points, all these points, all this kind of points whose both coordinates are integers, consider this set. Consider this set. So Z cross Z. Did you get my point? What is the set S? It is all the points. It is all the points whose both coordinates are integers, as you can see in the picture. Can anybody tell me what is interior S? Which points of S are interior to S?
5.
Sorry? Somebody said no?
2 points.
Very good. Empty set. The answer is very simple. Whichever, suppose I'm taking this point very randomly, arbitrarily I'm choosing this point. Is this point an interior point of S? No. Because whatever open ball you choose, whatever open ball or whatever, however small or however big you choose, suppose I'm choosing this one, then you see this cannot be inside S because this point is not a member of S. Even if we take a bigger one, even if we take the bigger one, I'm taking this open ball around this one. It doesn't look like it, but though. So if I'm taking this open ball around this point, you see there are many points whose coordinates are not integers, and then that cannot be totally inside S. I need that whole thing to be inside S. But I will never find that. Whatever open ball you choose, that will have some integral coefficients, and hence those will not lie inside S. Did you get my point? What I am trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the interior? It is empty. Why it is empty? You can prove like this. Let A be a member of S. Then every open ball B centered at A and radius delta, every open ball this contains some point not in S. Whatever point you choose, if you draw an open ball around it, you will find always some points not in S. Therefore, A is not an interior point of S. So as A was arbitrary, so therefore interior of this set is nothing but the empty set. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
I'll just give you last example, last two, not as a homework. So number 3, just try to find the interiors of these two sets. Suppose the set B is like this. I'm not using B, this is a very bad notation. Suppose I'm using the set Q for that. What is Q? That is this notation. Suppose P. Very good. P. What is P? X comma Y in R2 such that X and Y both are positive. That means I'm talking about the first quadrant, full first quadrant, leaving this line and leaving this line. X and Y both are positive for this one. This is P. Find in P. What is in P? That is your task to do. And one more one, the rectangle. Okay, I'm talking about the rectangle. So I'll denote that by suppose A. So what is that rectangle? It is all those points in R2 such that, let me take a particular example. X greater than, A can be any number and B can be any number, and Y, that's the rectangle that I drew in the previous page. Find interior. So just picturize things, because I just want to see how you do things. Okay, so that's all for today from my side. If you have any confusion, feel free to ask. Thank you.